Recently, I was asked to give a talk about mentoring, and I thought, before I do this, I better look up in the dictionary and see what exactly is a mentor. Well, here's the definition: an experienced and trusted advisor. It's been my experience that mentors sort of happen along when you need them, sort of like the guide that Joseph Campbell talked about in his hero's journey. So it's an informal relationship, not at all like a life coach that you pay money to help you organize your life, or one of those executive coaches, again, you pay money to them to organize your business life. The mentor sees something in his protege and makes him or her want to see that protege thrive. It is also, I think, when you look at your protege, before they become your protege, you see a version of you inside that younger person. Ambition is a huge factor here. Of course, we can have ambitions for all sorts of things. We can be ambitious to marry well, or go through a long hike in the Andes, and you can find a mentor for those things as well. The thing is, there are no set rules. It is that informality that's important, because you want to be free to express yourself as the protege and as the mentor. Let me tell you about my first mentor. This was a woman who came along when I sorely needed her. Here's the story.
At 6 years of age, my parents were divorced. This happened long before California opted for the no-fault divorce law. This means my brother and myself, we were unusual because we came from a broken family.
As a child of divorce, I carried baggage. I still do, because it never goes away. At 6 years of age, I needed an anchor in my life. 2 women supplied me with my much-needed foundation.
The first anchor was my paternal grandmother. I am named after her older sister, Laura Evans, who died of TB in 1908. Laura had just been accepted as a teacher the year that she died. My grandmother was devastated. Within 8 years of my great-aunt Laura's death, my grandmother's mother, father, and brother all died, leaving her quite alone in this world. In 1920, she married my grandfather, OBIE Crockett. Grandma had 4 children, my dad being her youngest son.
After my parents divorced, my mother wanted to go back to school. Well, she was ambitious, and she wanted a better job. So my brother and myself, we went to live with my father, and his parents went to live with us as well. My grandmother, a true lady of the late Victorian age, she was born in 1893, took care of us. She made sure that we were fed all the time and had proper clothing and that they were mended, got us to school on time. What an angel she was. The second woman to give me a foundation was my stepmother. Her name is Luella, but I called her Mother. She is not a wicked stepmother. If anything, stepmothers have thankless jobs.
Luella met my father through my paternal aunt, Jerry. Both women were in the sciences, smart, capable women, both of them. When I think back on those days, I think if Luella had been born a decade later, she would have gone to med school to become a doctor. Yes, she's that intelligent. Instead, her fate was to marry my father in 1958. She then became a traditional wife. She tried her best to be a good mother to her husband's 2 children, my brother and myself.
She did a fine job in raising me. Methinks this was partly due to the fact that she too had been traumatized during her childhood. What did she teach me? She taught me to develop my character. She taught me morality. She told me that if you develop your mind and your character, that will get you through life long after your prettiness fades away. She also taught me to read. Read, 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 she said. Read anything you can lay your hands on. And she never censored anything that I read. She also taught me responsibility and to control myself. I had cats that I bred, Siamese cats, and she said, you can have this little business of yours as long as you take 100% responsibility for it. The rules in the house were quite simple. If you don't take responsibilities for the things that you want, well, you don't get them. So I decided to take responsibility.
Luella didn't have to put that kind of work into me. She could have dismissed me, patted me on the head, and said, there, everything will be all right. But she didn't, because Luella is responsible, like any good mentor.
Mentors want their proteges to succeed. That's a given. That is the reason for the whole project to begin with. The protege wants to succeed as well, because it reflects badly on them if they don't succeed. I mean, what do the rest of us think? Wow, you floundered a good opportunity. So the mentor is always there to bolster you if you're a little down, or prod you if they think you're a little lazy. Oh, I got both of those in my experience with Luella, and I thank her for it.
One of the best words Luella taught me was stick-to-itiveness. I was not allowed to give in or give up. I was to practice, to get things right, and to do it until I got it right. No slacking off.
I don't think I could have done many of the things I did without Luella in my life. Yes, it's hard work to be a mentor. It's even harder work to be a mother and a mentor. But it's worth it in the end. But isn't that what mentoring is all about? That you want this success in this protege of yours? Whether they're a stranger that was introduced to you or your own child? That's the point. Mentoring cannot be forced. It is not an assignment. It's a calling. Luella, she heard the call, and she answered it.